what's up? It's Matty at mixandmastermysong.com. Today I'm going to show you guys a little tutorial on the new Brainworx Masterdesk mastering plugin. The thing's pretty cool. I'm always a big fan of these kind of all-in-one plugins that can do a bunch of different things. I think it's really helpful so you can move quick when you're working. I like moving fast and staying creative. Now, this might not be the tool for, if you're a serious mastering guy, although you can get some pretty cool, good masters out of it. But I think it's more geared towards someone who's just, doing a rough mix or mixing and just want to send a client a louder song for comparison when, comparing to other songs, so it sounds kind of mastered already. Really good at doing that thing quickly. But it does have some great features that I totally dig. So let's jump in. We'll go through the features, and then I'll show you just kind of how it works on a song I've been working on here. So here's the plugin. What they say to do is you turn the volume up, find your foundation, and then kind of basically tweak the rest. So the volume is to get it louder. Obviously, that's what a lot of what mastering is. The foundation is kind of a big bass or treble knob, and once we get into this, I'll show you or play it so you can hear it. It then has four different. Here's the compressor settings. It has four different compression settings. This is the most aggressive. This is the least aggressive. So you have four settings in between there. The compressor link button links the channels or unlinks the channels. So they say in the manual it's best to have the channels unlinked. So we'll go with that. Limiter turbo is if you just need it a little bit louder. So I guess underneath it's limiting the signal about a dB. Now if you click on limiter turbo, it limits it by 2 dB. So we'll squash it a little more. But for stuff like EDM and some pop music, you might want that little more squished sound. And you notice too, when you turn it on and off, it will put the output trim down 0.2 dB. Over to the right is total harmonic distortion. This can sometimes add a little bit more weight and thickness and make the master appear a little bit louder. And so you can mess with that. They kind of say to leave it at default, but once we start playing things, we'll turn it up and down and see what it does. Here's your compressor. The threshold, I guess, is what it is. It's showing you the gain reduction. And this is a bit of parallel compression. So 100% is all compressor. This is off, no compression. And then in between is parallel compression. Now, they say to start off here and just leave it. But it's interesting because it's really small amounts over here. I mean, you're talking about 7% to 100, and then it's a little bit bigger amounts over here. But interesting how that is set up, and we'll play it. Next, they have a De-Esser, which is good for getting rid of some of the high-frequency stuff that might be hurting your ears a bit. Down here are the resonance filters. This is probably the coolest part of the plugin for me. I think this is pretty cool. A lot of times you can have a lot of unwanted buildup in the low end, especially around 160 and 315. And so what this does is it just filters out a little bit of that in those areas. And it has a solo button so you can really hear what's building up down there, which is cool. Same with the upper mids. They got one at 6666. I don't know if that's a rock and roll reference, and then at 3K. That can be some real harsh areas, especially with rock music and some pop music, can get kind of harsh built up there. So that's another place you can kind of tuck it down. Next is some tone. So after you get your foundation, you can still manipulate the tone of the sound. This kind of works like a guitar amp, bass, mid, treble, and presence. And then finally, last but not least, they have a mid-side section for stereo enhancement. And this is something on a lot of the BX plugins. They have a mono maker, so if you set this to 170, anything below 170 will be in mono, will be just straight up the middle, which is cool sometimes. Then you got some bass that might be a little too far spread out, and you're having a hard time focusing the low end. Monoing in the middle can be helpful if it's needed. Stereo enhancement is great for making your record sound wider. I use this a lot on my mixes, not this plugin, but the BX version, the BX version 3. I assume this is close to the same concept. And you'll really hear this once we play it. So let's check this out. Once again, we're using my buddy Sammy Adams' song. He's so nice to let me use his stuff for these videos. And we'll just play it. And what I'm going to do is just kind of go through it if I was to master it based on what they said in the manual and just my own kind of what I'm hearing. So let's check it out.
Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you.
So they say you want to get between 8 and 6 in the manual. One more thing is 8 and 6. So we'll try to get there.
Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave.
So I turn down the output just once so I don't blow you guys' ears off. And secondly, so we can kind of hear what we're doing here. I do wish they had an automatic output button. Some limiters do. You can click a button and it will decrease the amount you're gaining. That way you can kind of hear what you're really doing. But for now, we'll just do it manually.
Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you.
So now we'll click through these compressors. You can take a listen to the difference.
Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock.
You really hear the difference between 1 and 4. I kind of like 2 and 3. It wasn't so in your face as 1, but still kind of bringing that kick and strength.
Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you. Take it off, go and misbehave. Don't need anything to rock with you. Don't need it. Just lay it off, girl, I know your game. Don't need anything to rock with you.
So pretty cool, man. You could tell it really made a big difference in the sound of the song. And what did that take us, 2 or 3 minutes just to kind of get it sounding pretty good. So really dig the plugin. What I wish there was I guess I'm not a huge fan of the compressor. It's just, for me, there's not enough settings. I wish it would add automatic gain reduction so you can really hear what you're doing, but maybe they can put that in the next release or something. But other than that, it's a pretty cool plugin. I'd like to use pieces of it maybe for my mastering. I really dig the quickness of this resonance filter. And the MS section is cool, although like I said, I already used some of their plugins for that. But a really great tool to get a quick master if you're just sending it out to a client or something like that. I think it's great. So make sure to check it out. You can demo it, and they also not only released it with Plugin Alliance, UAD also has it. So check it out. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like the video if it helped you out. And if you need your song mixed or mastered, hit me up at mixandmastermysong.com. Thanks.